What could go wrong?
Hey there. Good morning. Actually, good afternoon, right? Today is August 15th, 2018, and we've got a special stream here today. My name is Jeff Fritz, and I've got two friends. They're actually on that side. There they are. It's Richard Campbell and Carl Franklin. Hey, guys.
Hey, man,
Hi.
how you doing?
Oh, man, it is so much fun to be on Twitch with you two. And we're not going to be live coding today.
No, there's too many hands for that, I think.
Too many hands. I think we wanted to talk a little bit about streaming and educating.
Well, you see, it's a conversation you and I have been having for a while, so I'm fascinated to make it a show. Plus, I'm kind of interested in what people think of seeing how a .NET Rocks actually gets made, sort of.
Right, sure. They get to hear us fumble all over our sentences.
Yeah. And yes, my hat's reversed because this is a mirror coming off of my camera instead of actually
Right.
showing my stuff here.
Is there a way that I can see what people are typing? Is there a place I can log in?
Oh, yeah. Go to twitch.tv/C#Fritz, and you'll be able to get into the chat room. And it looks like Skype is leveling out my microphone. Thanks so much,
Of course it
Skype.
is. They're here to help.
They're here
Yeah.
to help.
Oh, I don't want the stream. I just want the chat.
So down at the bottom, you can pop out the
bottom.
chat. It's on
I
the right
see it
side.
right there.
Awesome. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
There you go. And our friend Kevin Griffin's out there with a link to it. Rob Windsor is here, it looks like.
hey, Rob.
Let's see. And I see some of our regular friends that I have over here. Gareth Hubble. Mark Miller is here, of course. Code Rushed. Cool.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So, oh yeah, troublemakers are in the chat room.
I still don't see the chat
Here,
room.
tell you what, I will grab the link here from Kevin.
I see the
There
video,
we go.
but I don't see the chat room.
And Gareth doesn't make trouble. No, not you. But certainly our friend Mark there causes a little bit.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Listening.
I just had to make it bigger. Okay, never mind.
There you go.
I got it. Did not like responsive UI.
Oh,
There you
man.
That would be something.
What's interesting is they put buttons at the top of Twitch. There's an arrow on both the left side and the right side, so you can expand the folks that you follow, and also minimize that off to the side. And same thing with the chat room. So when I'm watching things like Overwatch League,
Pop out.
I close out the chat altogether because there's so much going on. It's so fast going by.
All right, that's cool.
So
All
yes,
right, I got that all open. I seem to have all the bits in place.
all
Yep,
of the
I got
bits
'em all.
is
I got a comment ready. It's a good one.
cool.
I have my bits.
I think we're ready to make a show.
All right, so here comes the crossover chat room. We're gonna change things up, and we're gonna be full on .NET Rocks here for a bit, and we'll figure out appropriate times to jump over to chat.
Yeah.
I gotta log in
Technically,
to
this
Twitch.
is still an interview, right? Technically.
Right, right. So
All right. If you're ready, Jeff, I think
I'm
we're
not
ready.
ready.
Okay.
I'm not ready. Hang on 1 second. I gotta find my Twitch password.
it might be the same as your Amazon password. Just saying. I'm not saying, but I'm just
That's
saying.
right. That is right.
So now, for a long time, you guys were giving out mugs on your show, and I happen to have won one of those prestigious ceramic cups of joy. Do I need to give one of my mugs to you guys now? Is that how?
I think that probably
I think turnaround
I
works
got
there.
one of these.
There you go. Look at that. Run is radio.
All right, I'm not logging in. I'll just read. I don't need to type anything.
Nope.
You can hear me.
You know what? Cryptrix, I think he's got it here. He says password is ***********. Same as his.
I like it. I like it. All right, let's get going here.
All right.
Turn all this crap off.
Oh, so I shouldn't
Get
have
this
been
out of my
recording yet?
face.
I'll stop
All
my
right.
recording. Let me know when to start the recording.
No, go ahead. Go ahead
Yeah,
right now.
we've already started. We'll just clip all that off. So
All right.
Yeah.
I guess the folks in the stream are going to see how the sausage gets made.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. This is the making of .NET Rocks. Well, many people may have been to a live show,
Yeah.
but this is what we do.
Live, direct from the internet.
I'm here, he's there, and together we make a show. All right. 5 seconds of silence. Okay, that's more than 5 seconds, but okay.
I broke wind. I'm sorry.
Welcome
All right.
back to .NET Rocks. This is Carl Franklin.
And this is Richard Campbell.
We're doing this live with Jeff Fritz. He's hosting us today. Hi,
Yeah,
Jeff.
Hey,
little
how's
quick
it
action.
going? Oh, yeah. Trying something
And-
new.
This is going to be good, and we want to talk all about it, but we got to go through our regular .NET Rocks gobbledygook first, including a little banter. Hi, Richard.
Hey, man. How you doing?
That was enough for me. Was that
All
enough for
right.
you?
Let's move on.
All right, let's move on. So better know framework. Roll the music. Sorry, there's no music for you people.
Yeah. If you're in
Well-
the stream, you just notice that you don't actually hear the music because
No,
we do that later.
Well,
the editors.
I can play
editors.
music to code by. I can play
Well,
some of that.
we have editors are so good they even make us sound smart. So this is now an edit point in our
That's right. It's called an edit
show.
point.
None of this will show up. It's only in the stream. So
Unless,
none
of
this-
course, we say, leave all that in.
yeah,
And then, which we've done before.
which we have done before. Yeah.
Don't cut that. That was gold.
The one where the guy was about to give us the explanation for something big, and then the Skype call dropped, and we wet ourselves laughing, and then finally
Yeah,
got the
it's
call back and rebuilt
The
it, and
most
then went
important part of this is
click.
so
No.
funny. All right, here we go.
Brilliant. All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right, buddy. What do you got?
Well, I've just been finding some really cool tweets that have videos attached to them, and this is no different. This is Mike Alger. If you go to, what's the number here? Edit point.
1575.
If you go to 1575.pwop.me, you'll see Weekend Project. By combining a 3D scan with an MRI, don't worry, I'm fine, I can now step out of my body and legitimately look into my head at my own brain.
That video is awesome.
How cool is that?
That is pretty cool. Very clever.
Yeah, it's a 3D model of him in his head, and then when it gets really close, kind of like how Google Maps and Bing Maps morph into like a satellite view when you get really close, it just goes inside his brain, inside his head, and shows his brain. Very, very, very cool.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. And the 3D model is oddly creepy. Like, just, it's an actual scan of a person, and it's just like there's something deeply artificial about that.
And I got to thank Joel Hewlin for finding that one and posting it in our Slack channel.
How long before that's just a routine thing that you can just look through your body like that?
I know, it's crazy.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. It's science fiction, I tell you. It's Star Trek.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, look. Jeff is showing it on the live screen.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, that's crazy.
Isn't it? Very cool.
Well, that's what I got, Richard. Who's talking to us?
Grabbed a comment off of show 1507, the one we did with one Jeff Fritz, right at the beginning of the year, January 2nd, 2018.
Never heard of him.
We were talking about ASP.NET in 2018.
Right.
And by the way, ton of comments on these shows. And of course, Jeff, being the diligent community person that he is, responded to virtually all of them. And I want to grab this particular comment from Steve Ognabene, who's actually been on the show before.
Yep.
He was a guest on 1149 when he was talking about working with TypeScript. And here's his comment. This is about 7 months ago now. Thanks for doing the show, Carl and Richard and Jeff. Yeah, Jeff Fritz. Of course, I think Jeff, the old Jeff, the editor, that confused me. I'm so pleased to hear that we will all see some interesting new features in the upcoming web forms release. Jeff, you said that in this upcoming version, a developer might be able to, and I'm paraphrasing, pause what's happening, execute some code, and when things are being constructed. I'm very much looking forward to getting more clarity regarding this. First of all, what things? Are we talking about the fundamental elements of ASP.NET Web Forms, such as context or session, or just user objects? Might this be a feature along the lines of ASP.NET Core middleware? Dare we hope that your plans include adding the features to support what the Web Forms test project dreamed of becoming? Will you be developing this in the open, or will ASP.WebForms remain source open via reference source only? I heard you suggest to the listeners to try turning view state off and see what happens. I wonder if there is a way to write an analyzer for this. Wouldn't that be a nice light bulb to appear in Visual Studio? There are 15 controls on this page that don't need view state turned on. Would you like it if I disabled it for you?
That's awesome.
Finally, I think your idea for an ebook on modern web forms is an awesome idea, though I expect a sample project on GitHub that is cross-referenced with the relevant articles on docs.microsoft.com would be as useful and likely a lot less work. Thanks again for being on the show. And Jeff, you replied to this 7 months ago. Do you have a new or different reply now?
I think we cut a bit of that functionality for being able to intercept at the creation.
Right.
And it was really the creation, what we were focusing on as we were delivering that feature. And that feature was delivered as part of .NET Framework, I can't remember if it was 4.7.1 or 4.7.2. But the idea is still the same. When a page or a user control or a custom control or a ASMX, right, one of those SOAP services, SOAP-based web services, or what's the last one? ASHX. A handler was being created. You can actually hook that and inject things. You can interact with the constructor at that point. And the key thing that people were doing with it that we started putting together was the ability to add dependency injection for web forms. And you can do that. There are some packages out there that use this new feature, this new functionality, so that you can start to refactor your web forms applications to take advantage of dependency injection, move those resources out, get them into class libraries, .NET standard libraries, so that you can start to reuse them in .NET Core migrations.
This is one of the arguments we had for MVC back in the day, right? Was you couldn't do dependency injection on web forms, that you couldn't separate concerns, you couldn't really build testing harnesses and stuff around it. So the fact that started to creep into web forms freaks me out, actually.
So... Right. It wasn't a question of we can't do it. We knew exactly where the point was that it needed to be modified. It was just, do we really want to go change this low-level piece of code that was way down in the base of how...
Like an ISAPI filters, right?
Not even ISAPI, actually. It's not that low. It's in that in the part where system.web decides to new up things, right? At that point where that mystical piece of code where it says, oh, create a new web form of this to return, that's what we needed to change.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah. That might
totally
have broken
valid.
a few things.
Yes.
Tricky stuff to poke around, and it's always interesting to hear the Microsoft team's nervous about code they're not willing to poke around into.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of folks that are nervous about poking at some of that code. So much so that they said, you know what? We're just going to make another framework and we'll call it .NET Core?
Maybe.
Well, I'm glad they're nervous about that kind of stuff. That's exactly what we want them to be nervous about.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Steve, thank you so much for your comment. A copy of Music to Code By is on its way to you. And if you'd like a copy of Music to Code By, write a comment on the website at .netrocks.com or via any of our social media, because we publish every show to Facebook and Google+. And if you comment there and read it on the show, we'll send you a copy of Music to Code By.
And definitely follow us on Twitter. I'm at Carl Franklin. He's at Rich Campbell. Send us a tweet. Jeff reads them all.
I do.
Before we do.
And probably comments on them, too.
No.
You were really diligent on that show, man. You went through and responded to a lot of people there.
He's our tweet reader.
You know what?
Fritz, tweet reader.
I'm going to make that my title.
Yeah.
Tweet reader? There you go.
Microsoft official tweet reader. Yeah.
Tweet reader.
Tweet reader.
Well, anyway, let me officially read your bio, or just a little bit of it, but everybody knows that you're a senior program manager in DevDiv, working on some of the latest web technologies, including Core and everything else. We're going to talk today to you about what you're doing here with this streaming Twitchy stuff, and maybe get back into some code eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. This is interesting, doing this little bit of crossover here.
It is interesting.
You know, we've got folks in a chat room that are excited, being able to see how this is being made, and we've got folks watching on the Visual Studio channel of Twitch. We got folks watching on my channel, and of course, all the folks out there listening on the podcast, on the recording. This is great. I really appreciate you agreeing.
Before we get into anything real, a story,
a
barbecue story.
Yes.
All right. So I got a new Traeger smoker / grill.
Okay.
And I smoked the pork butt overnight. Almost sounds obscene.
As you do.
But I think, it takes that long to properly smoke pork. Okay.
Yeah. So I put it in at midnight, and at 7 o'clock this morning, Kelly, my wife, was up and in the backyard, on the back porch where the smoker is, and she hears these men talking. She goes down to the end of the deck, and there are police officers there, and they smelled the smoke, and they wondered if our house is on fire.
That's not how that's supposed to smell.
I know, yeah. No, that's much too delicious smelling to be a house on fire.
But what kind of wood were you using?
Apple.
All right.
Yeah.
That comes across too mild as a flavor. It just sort of smells like smoke. Like if you smoke with hickory, everybody goes, "Oh, it's hickory. You're making barbecue."
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So anyway,
if you smoke with mesquite, then definitely the house is on fire.
So that's my barbecue story of dumb.
And you've
Story
got your Traeger.
of dumb. Oh, okay.
Yep. That's a nod to Mark Miller, story of dumb.
There you go.
Funny, Mark Miller actually said in the chat room, "I smoked the pork butt overnight," title of my autobiography. Thanks, Mark.
All right, enough chit chat.
I thought my autobiography was going to be "Forget the world, stop that girl, I want to get off." Did I get that wrong? I might have got that backwards.
It's something.
What?
Something not quite right there.
Look, we got to start the show somehow. We're going to get there.
Yeah, somehow.
We will get there.
I remember you starting to play with Twitch, and you and I had a couple of interesting conversations because it didn't go the way you planned. Can you talk about how you got involved and what happened?
Gosh, we were at Vegas for Dev Intersection in the fall, right? It was
only last year, or was it 2016?
Only last year, only 2017.
All right.
I know.
Yeah.
It's been 9 months I've been doing it.
Yeah.
And we had this conversation around, hey, our friend Suze Hinton's doing some really neat things out there with JavaScript programming. One day on the weekends, showing how some of this stuff is built. Really, what developers build with JavaScript. And I started taking a look at it, and I'm like, well, I've got a little bit of a radio voice. This might be a little bit fun. And this was a case where what happened in Vegas didn't stay in Vegas.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I've got a microphone. I've got some of this stuff. Nobody's really talking about .NET. Nobody, and Twitch is kind of a different environment that not a lot of folks in the .NET community hang out at.
Sure.
It's an opportunity to speak to younger folks, to students, but also have that worldwide reach and bring in folks who aren't used to seeing .NET, who aren't used to having that access, that smiling face. How you doing?
That's what you call that, okay.
Yeah, right? And the first couple times I tried it, I had so many more. Now I'm seeing your messages there, Carl.
Yes.
But we started very simple. Like, you know what? Let me just start writing a little bit of code. I started working on a Visual Studio extension. It was something that I had been wanting to do for a while. As a web forms developer, I thought, you know what? I've got long compile times. So let me write an extension that plays some music during that compile time. And I was in love with it. It was that earworm of the epic sax guy from the Euro, right? What is it? The Euro music competition, right? He was originally from Moldova, and it was the European music competition somewhere in Scandinavia. I forget which one, but it was like 2012. And it was this guy playing a sax, and it was Eurovision. That's what it was. Thank you, chat room.
Okay.
And I loved it, and I wanted that on loop while my code was being built. That way I could use it at other events and have this funny thing playing in the background.
I was thinking yakety sax, but that's just me.
I was thinking Kenny G.
There you go. It looks like Rob Windsor agrees with you, Kenny G. Mm-hmm. So I thought this would be great. This would be a lot of fun to do, and I wired it up and got it working, and I started building some things around it online. It was like, well, this isn't too bad. This is kind of fun. And I slowly started building, adding new features, and I was like, well, I'm not quite somewhere where I'm engaged yet, and the folks that were on now, why is that popping up? Look at that. The folks that are on Mixer might be interesting to engage with, and of course the boss is called.
Right.
And Scott said to me, it'd be nice if you could go on Mixer also. So I started broadcasting over there at the same time.
Right.
And I was like, well, I can't manage two of these streams with some of the tools that are out there. I need to do something to manage both at the same time. So I started writing some tools to manage dual streaming. And then a weird thing happened. I got a pull request. And I got a couple more pull requests. Okay, now we're engaging. Now we're seeing folks in the community. Some of the folks that are in the chat room right now, as we're broadcasting here on Twitch, sending some things. Hey, this is a cool suggestion. Why don't you try this? Or an issue. This doesn't work quite right when I look at your code. And that's when I knew I was onto something. At the point that folks started engaging at that level, I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere.
Was the Twitch audience primarily .NET developers that were also gamers? Like, did you drag all the devs into Twitch, or were they there already?
There were
games?
a number of folks already there, but I'm also seeing some other folks that are coming in screaming and yelling. Oh my gosh, what's this Twitch thing? My kids use this to play Fortnite.
Right.
And they started joining in, and more and more I'm hearing from folks, hey, that's really neat. We learned something cool from you while we were watching. And then I actually took the ASP.NET workshop that we do at Dev Intersection. I adapted it a little bit, changed it up, and invited some of our friends, John Galloway, Julie Lerman, Shane Boyer, to help present it. We broke it up, and we did it one full day just, let's talk about it and go through. Everybody took a little piece, and we had a lot of fun with it. A week or so later, I got a message in a chat room. Somebody said, I watched the workshop. I followed up and learned a little bit, and I applied for a job, and I got my first software development job after watching some of that stuff and following up with Virtual Academy and some other things. I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's great.
So
proof
really
is right
cool.
there.
Yeah, right? I'm
Yeah,
like,
what more do you want?
exactly. So the boss is still paying attention and said, okay, here's a report. Here's how we're doing. We've got some numbers. We've got some traction here. Is this something that we want to continue doing? And they said, well, keep pushing it a little bit. Here's some other topics, some ideas that we think would be interesting to make sure that you cover. And I said, well, how about, can I bring it to Build? Right? And I saw you, Richard, and Carl at Build. Yep. And I ran a couple sessions at Build, and people started to notice. And going back to the boss, Carl and Richard can't hear that chat room, but I
can hear it.
Okay.
We can definitely hear it.
So
every time you say the boss,
yeah,
that happens.
Him. So he said, we have the Visual Studio channel. That might be something interesting to work with, might be something to build on and do. Mm-hmm. And since about the build time frame, we've been building out some content so that we can really take this type of medium that we have here on Twitch, where I think of this more like where what you're doing with a podcast really is that NPR very highly produced, had great content, not at all edited down.
No,
not at all.
No need, not a bit.
Not at all.
And you blow it.
Because we never say,
we
never say swears like fuck, shit, damn, bitch.
Okay.
We don't say things
now,
like that.
Now I've got my family friendly flag on Twitch is going.
Yeah, we can fix it in our show. We can't fix it in his show.
Oh, thanks so much.
I like being school. I'm being lectured by Mark Miller.
There you go.
Yes, you
the
are.
Family show.
Guys, I do have.
But what I do have are a very particular set of skills.
Very particular.
Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Very long career. Now, that hasn't been recorded as part of the Audacity here, but we'll have to figure out a way to dial that back in.
That's all right.
That's okay.
So,
Jeff, I got to interrupt you for just a moment for this very important message.
Which doesn't
and we're
include
back.
Any
It's Richard
swears.
Campbell, Carl Franklin. It's .NET Rocks. We're talking to Jeff Fritz. We're streaming live on Twitch and apparently Mixer too.
No, we're not on Mixer today. We're just on Twitch.
Okay. So keeping it simple. Don't want to make it more complicated than it needs to be.
Yes. Oh, yes. So, but we are on the Visual Studio channel here on Twitch.
Nice. So, what do you do on the channel? Like, how do you engage an audience? Like, you can't just sit there and ask for questions. Does that even work? You got to kind of work on something.
So we do. That's a great point. So I started off working on just some widgets, some things that are great for using here on Twitch or on Mixer that show some interesting things that are going on. I even put together like a little GitHub, I call it the scoreboard, but it's more like a ticker that goes by the top of the screen when I'm writing code that shows here's everybody who's contributed, right? Right. I want to celebrate those folks in our community that are working together on an open source project, and everything I work on is open source. Everybody can see the code. It's all out on GitHub, and if people want to submit questions, I've got a Discord chat room that's kind of like Slack, but it's the one that the gamers really favor. Right. But I've got a Discord chat room. Folks can talk to me on, post questions, and I'll come back to them here on Twitch. But I've got projects that we work on. Even one, I'm going to go back to Dev Intersection again. That I started with Shane Boyer back at Dev Intersection Orlando. That was March. I think it was March that that event
Yeah, and then the
was.
spring show in
Yeah, the
Orlando.
spring show.
Yeah.
That's right.
And Shane and I started on stage, and it was a simple wiki. I want a little CMS, simple ASP.NET Core, Razor pages, runs everywhere.
And you only got an hour.
And we only had an hour. So we started
Right.
it, and we said, okay, we have a live audience that were asking questions. We had an audience on Twitch that was asking questions, and we handed it off. And it's all in GitHub, and we've slowly had folks contribute to it. Lots of pull requests. I've got folks in Australia, in New Zealand, in Europe, North America that have contributed pull requests, and I have their names go by on that ticker during my normal shows.
Nice.
Yeah, really cool stuff. We ran an architecture workshop in July. I call it a workshop, but it's 8 hours, and we have a bunch of MVPs and Microsoft folks join for an hour each. And each one of them took a piece of that Core Wiki project. That's what we call it, Core Wiki. And they each grabbed it, and they said, well, here, let me show you how to apply this piece of architecture concept to it. So we had Miguel Castro show us how to write some extensibility capabilities.
Nice.
Steve Smith talked to us about clean architecture, right? Julie Lerman talked about domain-driven design. So, we talked about all of these things and how they can make our software better. So, coming off of that for the last month or so, we've been slowly introducing those concepts to the project.
Mhm.
And consequently, then some of our viewers, I call them pair programmers, have been joining in and either in the chat room saying, "Oh, that I don't like the way that feels. That doesn't feel like good architecture." Or they'll submit a pull request and say, hey, I gave a shot of applying Jimmy Bogart's Mediator library and seeing how that can improve the project.
It's
And
almost
then-
like mob programming, isn't it?
Yes, Carl. That's exactly what it feels
Woody
like.
Zool would be really happy about this.
It's been very cool.
Yeah.
So
I see 28 contributors to Core Wiki now,
yeah.
and right at the bottom is Shane Boyer. So clearly he's slacking.
So I've been talking to Shane, and we've been looking at in September. Is there an opportunity to bring a whole bunch of great cloud modules into this, so that you can optionally say, you know what? Instead of we're using SQLite, so anybody can download and install and run it inside of a Docker container, but
Right.
maybe you want to use Cosmos DB. So maybe we take a show and we demonstrate here's how to use Cosmos DB and integrate it with the project.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And an interesting idea. I mean, one of the challenges here is that it might just be an option. Like you want to be able to run it on-prem as well, but that idea that you could modulate this and say, okay, well, here's a way to insert Cosmos DB and what it does for us.
Exactly. Oh, you know
Yeah.
what? We want to do notifications, but let's do them with an Azure function. Okay.
Sure.
Here's how to add that in.
Yeah, you can cloud this up pretty heavily.
Very cool.
So,
Very interesting what you're doing.
yeah.
And are you feeling like you're reaching Twitch folks that hadn't really paid any attention to .NET, or you're bringing .NET folks to Twitch?
It's a little bit of both.
Mhm.
It really is. The number of folks that pop into the chat room and say, "Hey, what's this editor you're using? That doesn't look like brackets or
Yeah.
Atom." I did a whole month. I did the whole month of May. I called it May is for Macs, and I did the whole month using Visual Studio Code on a Mac. And people are seeing all the Mac, Chrome and things around the screen. They're like, what editor is this? This doesn't look like something I would normally see people writing code with on a Mac. And I was using Visual Studio Code, and we had a whole bunch of people learn how to use Visual Studio Code on a Mac.
But just know that it
Very nice.
exists, right? That
Exactly.
That thing is there.
Yeah. By placing our categories properly here on Twitch, and Twitch has an amazing set of categories and tags that they put on. They call them communities now, but Twitch is changing up their structure a little bit. But we tag the stream so that people can find it in the hierarchy and watch the show. It's really gotten some new folks to tune in, when they might not normally, be watching a show or listening to a podcast. We have folks that tune in, and they'll have the show playing in their team room, And then whenever something comes up that they're interested in, somebody will jump on chat and ask a question and kind of probe me along. And that's the thing about this medium is I can be very interactive with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it strikes me that ultimately the digression is the value.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
I mean, I know you have to go in working on a project. Right? There has to be something you're working on.
Mm-hmm.
But those digressions are where people are really going to learn something new, that they can interact with you enough and you go, oh, well, hey, let me show you this. I mean,
Well,
how many times have you been using Visual Studio and doing some keyboard shortcut and so like, how did you do that?
Right.
You know?
It's been the same with our show too. I mean, the digressions. You can't just go by the topic of the show because we talk about everything whenever it comes up.
There's so many things that I've jumped off to. We've got folks in the chat room asking questions about Blazor. Oh, it'd be great to talk about Blazor at some point. And fine, I'll answer questions about that. I look at it as if I wanted to write an application and get it done lickety-split, I wouldn't be sharing it with you and answering your questions.
Yeah,
You know?
Remember we used to measure our productivity by fewest number of interruptions? Then you strap the internet on your face. I'm thinking you just like interrupt me, please.
Yeah.
Well, I got an interruption because Richard, guess what time it is now?
It must be that happy time again.
Yeah, it's time for us to have a little fun. Ready?
Little?
Okay, Google, restart my phone. Jeff, looks like the chat room is emptying out.
Stop it. Stop it. That's terrible. Terrible. Really, they're going to be peeling
97,
out.
96, 95, 94. Chopping like flies.
Oh, you're killing me. You're killing me, Smalls.
It's actually time to give away a free conference pass to Tech Bash, October 2 through 5, and up to 4 nights at the Kalahari Resort in Pocono Manor, Pennsylvania for the event Compliments of Progress Telerik. To register, visit techbash.dotnetrocks.com. But first, let me tell you about the most comprehensive developer... And this is why we have editors.
Always delivers it perfectly, but it's a lie.
But first, let me tell you about the most comprehensive developer toolkit for building modern apps on the market today, Telerik DevCraft. With more than 1,100 Telerik.net and Kendo UI JavaScript components and controls, you can easily build modern, high-performant web, mobile, and desktop apps, as well as chatbots. The tool set also includes reporting solutions, automated testing, and productivity tools, and comes with a range of support options. New this year is a free online training program for all license holders. With this, alongside thousands of demos with source code, comprehensive documentation, and a full assortment of Visual Studio templates, you'll be up and running with the Progress Telerik and Kendo UI tools in no time. Download a free 30-day trial now at telerik.com/download.
Well, all right, buddy. Who's our winner?
Today's winner, Richard, is Paul Cooper.
Congratulations, Paul. Golf clap for you.
Wait a sec. I've got a sound effect that can help with that. Here we go.
There you go.
There you go, Paul.
That is not a golf clap.
That's everybody that's here in the chat room clapping.
There you go.
They all came back, yeah.
They're all very excited.
Yeah. That's about 100,000 golf claps.
There's so many here.
So Paul just won a free ticket to Tech Bash just for being a member of the .NET Rocks fan club. And if you'd like to be a member, go to .NETRocks.com, click on the big Get Free Stuff button, answer a few questions, and join the club. We have thousands of members all over the world. And every show, we like to give away stuff from our sponsors. And every December, we give away a $5,000 technology shopping spree to one lucky member of the .NET Rocks fan club. But you got to sign up to win.
You do.
All right, Jeff.
Yes.
I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a while.
A month? No, it's been longer than that.
7 months. January, dude.
Yeah.
Anything new on your
my shopping
list for $5,000?
So I'm at a point here where I'm building out the Fritz Studios.
Right.
You can see. I mean, I've got this little portable green screen behind me, and I've seen some other folks on Twitch. They actually painted the walls in their spare bedroom that they've turned into their home studio. They've painted 2 of the walls green.
Dedication.
Well, then what they do is they have different scenes that they can walk into, and it's whatever they sub out in the background.
It's all a lie.
Hey, look at me. I'm in the garage, and look at the cool sports car I have. It's all
Nice.
photos that they've put over it. But
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
But painting the walls isn't $5,000.
No.
But
and you got to know that we just did a show with James Montemagno where he said for his $5,000 he wants just Fritz's rig. So.
That's right.
Okay, chat room. My rig isn't $5,000.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It's not.
It's 7.
It's
Out of your league.
It's wow. Now I'm on the spot. No, I've been slowly building over time. Yeah, I would like $5,000 worth of baseball caps that I can wear on the next.
That's a lot of hats.
That's a lot of hats. No. So I actually only spent about $1,500 on the machine that I'm using, and I spent about $500 of that on a video card.
Right.
Yeah.
But I do want to soundproof the room, you know, because on the just outside the door over here, and you can't see it, I'm pointing over this way, and pointing works really good on radio.
Yeah. Love your gestures on radio.
ATSacoustics.com.
Real traps, baby.
Well, so
yeah, Real Traps will get you so far, but ATS Acoustics has got a lot of stuff.
So I need to soundproof the door because the kids' rooms are at the other end of the hallway, and a funny thing happens when the kids are home and mom's unhappy.
Yeah, nothing's quiet.
Nothing.
For $5,000, you can almost get a sound booth. Like that's in the ballpark.
Soundsuckers.com. They're actually $5,000 a piece. The 4x6 that I'm in right here.
There we
put
go.
yourself a little foamy box, dude.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I was going to get some panels to put on the walls.
Yeah. What if you just put a room inside your room?
Well, you know, but now you have to paint all the foam green, and that's going to take away from its soundproofiness.
So the other two walls behind me are the outside walls, and I've got pretty good distance there to the other folks.
Yeah.
So.
You either need to have a small, tight room like this, or a big room that's soundproofed, because you're going to need you need space in between, you know, to light the green screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I've actually done, all right, not in the $5,000, but changing topics. What I've actually done, so I actually have shop lights, clamp-on shop lights that I bought at Home Depot for $5.
Yeah, I have one right here.
Is that what you guys are using?
It's a little clamp-on light.
Yeah.
Mine's actually cheaper looking than that. Yours is. It looks like it's actually
a nice light.
I got mine from Lowe's, and it actually makes a nice counterweight too. Oh, and it just went off.
There you go.
So here, for the folks that are in the chat room that are watching, right? That's what mine looks like. It literally is a little aluminum light, and I bounce it off the wall in front of me. So it lights up me and a little bit of the green screen, and then to finish out the green screen, Carl's gone.
Yeah, no, the light broke.
The light broke.
I pulled the light out. So.
There you go.
Sorry.
So
That's what
to finish,
I get for pulling it down.
To finish out the green screen, what I do is I bought a little set of LED lights, RGB LED lights for like $20 on Amazon, and it has a little remote control like this, and I just turned it to green. And I have them filling in the green screen so that when I am broadcasting and I want to drop out the background, so I'm literally sitting inside a Visual Studio.
Yeah.
That's what I use. I don't use... I tried looking at using the camera, right? Some cameras can automatically drop out the background for you, but it's not crisp. It's not
crisp.
It's not perfect. So the chroma key features of tools like I use OBS takes care of that for me.
Open broadcast system.
Yeah. Seems to be the way.
So I took your advice and I did some streaming of cooking demonstrations for the keto world at carlsketokitchen.com, and I went to Twitch and YouTube and Periscope and Facebook all at the same time through restream.io. Thanks
Great
to you
service.
And your expert guidance, it really went well.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome. Cool. There's definitely something that feels great about being able to reach an audience they wouldn't normally be able to see you, right?
Yeah, I agree.
The trick is to give something that is important in visuals. Like, I'm not a big fan of the talking head, like what we're doing here per se. You generally want something else going on, but coding is just interesting to look at that way. Wait, are you pumping out like a 1080p stream?
Yep, we're 1080p right now up to Twitch.
Right.
And then Twitch has some funny things that happen where once you have a certain number of viewers, they'll start to run the encoders for you, and they'll transcode the video on the fly to different size video for other
I'm just trying to imagine the code still being legible. Like it sounds like you almost have to go into presenter mode and turn the fonts up and things like that.
I do that by default. I turn the fonts up, and part of that is just because it's easier for my older eyes to see now.
Yeah. You've got the old eyes. Okay, well, go with that.
Yeah. We'll absolutely go with that, and it works pretty good. I haven't had too many issues. Twitch doesn't prioritize you unless you're one of their bigger streamers. They call you a partner at that point, but you do start to get a little bit of priority on the encoders when you have a good number of viewers watching you on a regular basis.
I'm going to grab a comment or a question from the chat room, which was from Gareth Hubble, who said, "I have to ask you about your rainbow beard challenge."
Oh man, here we go. All right,
yes.
we're gonna have the .NET Rocks audience chiming in on this now. All right.
Yeah.
So for the folks that are watching, I have a logo that somebody suggested for me, and you can see it here on my mug, and it says "Works on my machine, ship it." It's kind of backwards because I'm. I got the idea for printing a logo on a mug from another show. I can't fathom.
Nobody has it. That's never a good idea.
Never a good idea. And I showed off when the mug first arrived. I put a picture on Twitter of me drinking from the mug, and stupid me, I did it in front of my green screen.
Right.
And one of our friends, I'm not sure if he's in the chat room now. No, he's not. Started swapping out the background, photoshopping it because it's on a perfect green background.
Sure.
And had a picture of me sipping from my mug as a dinosaur from Jurassic Park was chasing me. and
that's pretty awesome.
The gifts.
Yes. Oh, the gifts. And it's the gift that keeps on gifting.
Nice.
And somebody, one of the ladies that watches, her name is she's Moz in the chat room. She said, I want to color in that beard. I want to make that a rainbow colored beard. And I said, that's kind of silly. Why would I ever have a rainbow beard? And she found some pictures of folks or gentlemen that had rainbow colored beards. And she said, this would look really cool. I said, I would never do that. Oh, sure, that would look totally great. And I said, look. And I'm looking at the total number of followers I had at the time, and it was about 2,500. I said, look, if we can double that before Halloween, I'll go ahead and dye my beard rainbow colored.
Nice.
And they said, sure, let's do it. We'll help you get there. I was like, oh, no. So, all right, fine. So I made it a thing, and now I have one of the widgets that we built during my initial pass at writing some code on stream was a follower goal widget. So I can retheme that with whatever colors I want and with whatever goal numbers I want, and it'll track my followers. So during my normal streams, I have this follower goal, and it looks like that normal thermometer you see whenever there's a pledge drive or something. Sure. But when I hit 5,000 followers, if I hit 5,000 before, I think I said October 20th is the date I'm looking for. But if we hit that 5,000 for Halloween week, which also happens to be right after TwitchCon, we'll fill in the old beard. Yes, TwitchCon.
Apparently that's a thing.
That is a thing. They don't have .NET presenters there typically, but we'll dye the old beard here rainbow colored. So that's what we're pushing towards. So Twitch TV #Fritz. If we get 5,000 followers.
Do you think anybody wants to watch me create a music to code by?
Yes.
Live on Twitch.
Yes, absolutely.
That's something that people would like.
As the guy who has sat in your studio while you were working on music, like I've had my private Twitch stream. Totally.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating the way you create music.
It's pretty fun.
Our
pretty
friend
fun? Very fun. Very much fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
our friend Brady Gaster has started a stream where he has his DJ equipment all set up at home in his extra room that he has set up so that he can work on music while he's not interrupting the rest of the family, and he's starting to mix and write music live on Twitch.
That's pretty cool.
So there's a lot of folks that do that. Set the category for your stream to music, and wait till you see how many people tune in. And gosh, I've got to call out, while we have you here on stream, Carl, thank you so much for giving us permission to listen to music to code by while we write code here on this stream. Yeah. We've gone through a number of the different songs, and the comments that I get in the chat room from folks, this is really cool music. Are you intending to put me into a trance? I've had people say.
Well, yes, we are.
Kind of. We want you to focus.
Yeah.
So people really enjoy that.
To the app.
Yes. There's subliminal marketing in there.
I realize blue now is an automatic trigger into focus now for me. Like, I've listened to it enough times that it's literally 2 phrases in and you're there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So I use it myself when I'm writing code. I have a day job writing code again, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm listening to it all the time. 17 tracks now.
Yeah. So, and Gareth here in the chat room is saying this stream sold him on Music to Code by. Bought the collection rather than the subscription.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do it either way.
So, yeah, great stuff. We really enjoy that, and
thank you.
It's playing enough in the background that people can't clip it, right, and have it.
Yeah,
they'll just have to listen to this voice over it.
Right.
I find that people who really want to use it just get it,
Yeah.
I have had people ask me if I would, show them how I do research for a Geek Out. I just can't imagine how to make that interesting.
That would be amazing. Just you surfing the web and talking to yourself. Let me see what that's all about.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily read it, but you
I
may
read
have to
really
slow down
fast.
a little. Yeah,
So-
you may have to slow down a little to everybody else.
You've seen me do this, right? Like,
Yeah, I
how
have.
quickly I pull stuff together.
So, and that kind of leads into some of the ideas that we're kicking around for different shows that we want to have on our Visual Studio channel that we're launching here in September. So, we've got .NET Conf coming up, and I think there's a .NET Conf advertisement maybe around one of these recordings. I've been listening to .NET Rocks, and I think some of those advertisements have been on here.
Yeah, we've been doing .NET Conf ads every Thursday in August.
Cool. So
that break I did at the 20, that's worked out.
There we go. So .NET Conf is going to be broadcast live on the Visual Studio channel, and because of some of the cool things that we've been doing on Twitch, I thought, wouldn't it be great if we did 24 hours of .NET Conf over Twitch, every time zone, every continent?
Now, this is a Twitch thing, right?
Yes.
The gamers that play 24 and 36. Like, this is, and look, I'm the guy who's harnessed my OCD for the forces of good. This is not a healthy practice. Like,
So I've taken a lot of inspiration from a lot of our gamer friends that are out there on Twitch, right? I use some of the widgets that they use so that whenever somebody clicks the follow button when I'm writing code, I have a little alarm that comes up and it says, so and so is now following. Richard Campbell is now following you on Twitch, but you have an alarm that goes with it. So I have that Steve Ballmer clip of him yelling, "Developers, developers, developers."
right.
And Steve's greeted about 3,200 folks at this point. But
Nice.
yeah, so I've taken some of those things that the gamers do, and it makes it interesting. It makes it a little bit more engaging. And the 24-hour thing is something the gamers do when they hit a certain goal. Oh, we hit 100,000. We hit 1,000 new followers in the month, so we're going to run a 24-hour gaming stream playing PUBG, playing Fortnite. Some of these games, playing a game for 24 hours, that's a lot of caffeine.
It's horrifying, right? Like, it's how I learned to hate a game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So,
Like, that's just, I think, and then part of me just wonders if the people watch this because it's like watching NASCAR. Like, you're waiting for the accident.
yes.
For that, West themselves or loses their mind and just starts smashing their head on the keyboard. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's so odd.
So,
And the funny thing is, like, the computing industry and startup culture has been in a place for a long time where it was like you work 24 hours a day, da, 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 da. And we're just starting to have this conversation about a little bit healthier practices and a little bit more of this, better engagement and better rest. And then the gamer thing comes along.
Yeah. So it's a one-off thing. It's a stunt, right? To do something cool that brings people in. I did a whole weekend stream for charity with the Philadelphia area streamers. We call ourselves PH16, and it was for Child's Play to support the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and we had shifts. We had our friend Brent Schooley from Twilio. He's Chef Brent on Twitch, and he was hosting a bunch of us at his house, and he had a couple rooms set up, and we just rotated through, and a couple people would show up, and we'd do our shift, playing a couple games. We'd take off. Some other folks would wake up, and they would do their shift, playing a couple games, and it was great. We raised a couple $1,000s for Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and it was a nice model for a weekend of streaming. But for
that
.NET,
seems way more sustainable.
Yes. So, and that's what we're doing for .NET Conf. We're going to bring in for 1 hour, every hour, somebody from a different time zone to give a presentation. So we've got folks in. Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of, Richard? Remember the what was it? The live weekend that we did.
We did a long weekend of 16 hours a day for 3 days in a row.
Yeah. And we were just completely burned. I think you called into one of those, Jeff.
I did.
Yeah.
Well,
we were just completely burned out silly by the end of the day.
We did not get 48 shows from it. That's for sure. There was all. I mean, the end of the first day I think was pretty solid, but the end of the second day and definitely the last 3 hours of the third day, I think we were just down to fart jokes. There was nothing else left. That's all we had.
We did have comfortable chairs, though, didn't we?
Yes. No, it was very plush. You were laid out with the microphone sort of hovering in your face. It was,
right. And
that was a long time ago.
We had the chat room up on the screen in front of us. It was kind of fun, but I don't know if I would want to do that again. That's probably why we haven't done it.
Yeah, very well. What was interesting also is when you get that many shows, we got so far ahead that we ended up having to cut a couple because they were now wrong.
Yeah.
And one of the ones that we cut was Chris Sells in the Oslo show, if you recall.
That's right.
Because that was when
Chris
Oslo was still a thing. Yeah, I think it was just Chris on the show, but I took Chris to task. Was like, it's been 4 years of you leaking about this thing and talking about this thing. Where is it?
What happened? What are you guys doing?
And then enough that by the end of the show, Chris said, "Let me know when you're going to publish that so I could tell PR." And I'm like, okay, now I feel bad.
We're not going to publish that show.
Well, what happened between that time was they canceled Oslo. It got shut down.
Yeah.
Now it's just mean. Right now it's nothing. So we threw it. There's no reason to publish that.
Sure.
Yeah, Chris and Don came on the show years before that and talked about Oslo.
Well, it was 4 years.
Yeah.
Oslo was my proof that if you're talking about something and after the second year you haven't shipped it, it's not shipping.
But didn't that happen a bit with Roslyn? It took a while.
Roslyn turned into fusion power, right? Like it's coming out next year and next year and next year and next year.
Yeah, but it was worth the wait.
It was.
But Roslyn didn't start out as a cross-platform open source project, right? It was really a fix it's sort of a fundamental of programming languages that you write your compiler in your own language. And they never got around to doing that for so many years. And then finally it was kind of a sore point where it's like, there's a disconnect here. We've got to fix this. And it was just a side project for the longest time. And then when of course, you can see I'm pulling out my history of .NET stuff. When core became a thought, Roslyn had a mission, and then that moved very quickly.
Oh yeah. So, and I'm being prompted here in the chat room. I need to mention regarding languages. So I've always wanted to learn F#, and I started a thing on Fridays, and I haven't done it in a few weeks. Just a bunch of stuff has come up and has derailed it. But I started doing F# Fridays here on the stream.
Nice.
And nobody does F# on Twitch. And it gave us an opportunity to talk about F#, to learn about it together, and kind of explore some of the different things you could do with it. So that's been an interesting way to learn something and do something different with the medium.
Yeah,
so,
no kidding. And I know, over and over again, we've talked to folks who said that getting F sharp in their head and really starting to think functionally changed the way they wrote C sharp.
Yes. Yes. Without question.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all kinds of opportunities to do different things, to still learn technology, still be close to some of the things that we do as software developers, as technologists. There's Brent in the chat room. Brent does a great thing on Mondays where he's cooking, right? Just like you were doing, Carl.
Yeah.
They run a show called Cooking with Heat, and there's all kinds of different tech references and things that happen during that. And that's pretty cool.
Cool.
Some of our friends do these daily link blogs, where, right, like Alvin Ashcraft and Chris Alcock, right, the Morning Dew and the Morning Brew. It's okay to look at that site, but what if I want to actually hear somebody talk about it, do a little bit of analysis on it, a little bit further than, here's the links.
This
maybe
was the whole idea behind DNR TV when I started that, which is, not a one-way lecture, but it's an interactive thing. It wasn't live, of course, but it's very much the same idea, which is you want to ask questions and have people answer with code.
Yeah.
Or ask questions about the code they're writing.
Exactly.
While they're writing it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think there's opportunity for both of those types of shows, right? Talk about links. Let's talk about and do a really focused, pre-programmed, and hardened set of demos, almost a lab. Yeah. And be able to take questions, have people download the materials, and do a very instructional thing. More than just, hey, let's write some code together and contribute together on something. Right. So I see that there's all kinds of different learning models, and something that I'm name dropping all over the place here, but this really is a community thing that I'm trying to drive and help happen here. But something that I learned from Kathleen Dollard back at that fall Dev Intersection show was that folks learn the most when they're watching somebody else and they're trying to find the mistakes.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing that our chat room does for us on the Twitch streams when we're writing code is, and why I call them pair programmers, is they'll call out, oh, Jeff, you forgot a semicolon. You missed an extra bracket there or a parenthesis. And to get that feedback immediately from somebody else who's watching you is...
Before you noticed it. Yeah.
Exactly. I know they're paying attention to what I'm doing.
Right.
They're helping me not make that mistake. And then they may submit a pull request later and say, oh, you wrote this code, but here's some unit tests to help support it. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
that's really powerful.
Yeah.
Hey, I was talking to the Pope the other day, and the Pope told me something very important. The Pope said, Carl, if you never do one thing, you should never name drop. Don't do that.
The Pope said this.
Yeah.
As you do.
As
the let that go.
Show to a screeching halt.
There you go. So are you... Nice. So we get to this point, if folks want to, everyone's got an idea, put it out on Twitch. It's worthwhile.
Absolutely. And I'm recruiting some of our MVP friends to help us out with shows on the Visual Studio channel. I'm always happy to syndicate other folks. I see our friend Kevin Griffin's in the chat room. His user group and my local user group, Philly.net, have started streaming their user group meetings. So if you can't make it to their user group, or maybe you live a couple states away or even on the other side of the world, and there's a good topic that they're talking about, you can tune in, watch that speaker at that user group that you can't attend, and learn something and give them some feedback at the same time.
Awesome.
So what's the next thing on your agenda, Chris? Chris? Did I say Chris? That's an edit point. I was talking about Fritz, Chris. They rhyme. So Jeff, what's next on your to-do list?
So next on my to-do list, I have a couple of workshop type of events that I'm going to be running on stream here that I've been planning for the fall. There's a big one coming up in September that I can't talk about yet, but we're going to be running that one about a week before .NET Conf. And .NET Conf is where I've been focusing a lot of my energy, getting that virtual event off the ground. We have Ignite, and I'm hoping to do some more live streaming at Ignite. But really, I've been focused on streaming, building a community, and making this into something that's more than just people playing games, more than give that level of interactivity and demonstration that we want in a blog post that people can ask questions about and not have to wait for a comment to come back, a week or two later.
Right.
So I'm trying to engage and grow this as a medium for developers to learn, to engage, and to have fun.
Awesome.
That's so great. Thanks, Jeff. It's always a pleasure talking to you on our show, and it's nice to be on yours as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate you joining me here. We've had a lot of folks tune in and throughout the afternoon here.
Yeah, despite me resetting their phones.
Sorry about that.
Lord, I apologize. All right. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on .NET Rocks.
Well, there you go.
And we're out. All right, so that's the end of the recording.
Yes.
And we've still got folks in the chat room here.
We have another recording in 19 minutes.
Yeah. So
no
we've only
pressure.
got
16,
much time.
16 minutes.
Although, honestly, I haven't heard from him. Let me just double check.
Okay.
Make sure.
While you're doing that, does anybody in the chat room have questions for Carl and Richard while we're still hanging out here?
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good question.
So, let's see here. If the F# people probably do stream on Twitch, but they finish their task in only 10 minutes and then log off for a month.
I love that.
Nice. Let's go play some Fortnite. This is Q&A for you, chat room. What do you want to ask the fellas while we have them here?
Kogan's confirmed. We got 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
What's your best technique for learning fast? Read fast.
Yeah. I'm a reader. I figured out a while ago my superpower is just if you read stuff, it's faster than listening, and it's more source material. But it's amazing how few people really read these days.
Yeah. There's a question here from G. Byerly. How is the book coming along?
I had a 3-hour interview with Executive Vice President Jason Zander yesterday. I was down in Redmond. Really great conversation. I've got about 60 hours of interviews done. I have tried over the summer writing a few different test chapters. I am unhappy with everything, but you're trying to make the best thing you possibly can. So I'm still working hard on it. People clearly want it. I should be running a Kickstarter in the fall to commit me by pre-selling a whole bunch of them. It's a challenge, but if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. I'd really like to read that book.
Yeah, right.
So it turns out I'll probably have to write it.
I had a real challenge with writing my book. Let me tell you,
Mm-hmm.
it was so hard.
I did too, both of them. I never want to do that again.
No. I am saving my audio now for you as MP3.
Thank you.
Gareth asks, how did Carl start on the keto diet, and do you have any tips?
Yeah, listen to Two Keto Dudes. The whole story is there.
Yeah.
The number 2 ketodudes.com. The story is there about how we got started, and I essentially started it because I got diabetes. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. It was completely, but it was enough medicine, and my doctor me if I felt my test. Our good friend Mark, and he had done
Your audio is cutting out.
Skype's crapping out on us. Perfect timing.
Yeah, perfect timing for Skype. And Carl's locked up. There we are. Carl's back.
Because I'm uploading files.
There you go. Blame you.
Blame the internet.
Yeah.
How is the .NET Rocks Patreon coming along? Hey, there you go. Look, it's over there. Didn't hear the intro the last couple of episodes for the Patreon.
Carl's in charge of that, so he'll have to answer.
All right, I just stopped uploading. I'll have to do that later. The Patreon is coming along fine. I haven't actually checked it in a while, and we have promised to do some Google Hangouts that we have not yet done. So shame on us for not doing that. We need to do that. Summertime. Yep. And to answer the question about the keto diet, our good friend Mark Miller got prostate cancer after I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and he saw some promising research in shrinking tumors with the ketogenic diet. And so he was doing it, and his wife Karen was doing it as well. And I said, well, you're doing it, I'm doing it. And I jumped in full force. And I had sort of half-assed low carb up till that point, and I just leaned in as hard as I could. And, I did the research, and the research showed it was safe and effective, and I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not going to have a heart attack. And
not to give away the ending, but dude's not taking any drugs for type 2 diabetes anymore. Like, it's hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
And I know hundreds of people who've done the same, come off insulin, metformin, insulin shots, lost 100 pounds or more. It's real stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keto diet can be very powerful. I have seen it stop seizures in children, says Spadesman the First.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's really where its origin from, is it was an epilepsy treatment.
That's right.
So, all right. Cool. I don't see any other questions here. Oh, how did you get into podcasting and doing it so regularly? That's a good question.
Who, us?
Yeah.
Oh, podcast? Never heard of the things.
Yeah, I don't care for them. I find them very crass, actually.
I actually started .NET Rocks before podcasts were a thing in 2002. I wanted to have an NPR-style radio show about .NET. It was a lot of information to figure out, and I didn't realize it was going to grow so big, but I had hoped, of course. And then by the time RSS feed enclosures came around, which is essentially the podcast technology, we had 100 some odd shows.
Yep. Remember you calling me when Weiner put that thing out there, and you're like, I think this might be the thing.
Yeah, this is the thing. And then iTunes sort of became the center of the universe for podcast aggregation. That was another bump, and we just kept doing it. And then Richard came on at show 100 as the co-host and elevated it to a really high level. It was kind of goofy before then, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of.
Well, the original 50 shows were pretty serious. Me and Mark Dunn.
But you were very much experimenting with the model then.
Yeah, sure.
Figure out what you were about.
Yeah, we were trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And we did some fun shows. 50 to 100 were kind of funny and musical and twice as long. And we kind of saw our audience shifting a bit and not growing. And so then we split off into a comedy show Mondays, and .NET Rocks went back to its original format. And that was a great decision.
Can you imagine Twitch streaming on Mondays?
Actually, I can.
The first thing that happened is like when Mark kills it and we're all crying. Now you're just going to see us crying, right?
Yeah, Mark's agreeing with you in the chat.
Yeah. Now, if we're actually going to do this, I think we just have to do it streamed. We could still edit. I realize how much your edits of Mondays, that lead in and all those little bits. And pieces stuff,
otherwise it's mayhem.
Important. Yeah,
it's
the
mayhem.
reality of a stream of the raw Mondays is it's complete mayhem. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
We're just about. I know you guys got to run. Let me ask one final question here from Art9K. How is Humanitarian Toolbox going?
Great. We've learned that we can work with volunteers to build software that can actually help people. And we know the models for putting on events and getting people engaged in the projects and so forth. So that's been really compelling. We're still figuring out how to be a good charity. So, and that's hard. how we fund ourselves. Like our main consumption of cost now is we've realized we need to pay for project management. That when we try to do that with volunteers, it's just too hard to focus, and our ability to let developers be productive comes down to a well-organized project. And so that's where we end up spending money primarily. And so we've got to stabilize that cash flow. I would have many more projects running if I had enough money to keep project managers paid to be able to move that forward. So the problem is that for the average person, this is a very confusing charity. So we're working hard on grants. So we're going into that sort of mid-tier grant model. There's lots of foundations out there that want to give us money. We're just learning how to let them do that. It's tricky. It's a different business. It's something I've never done before, and for better or worse, our leadership is a little too tech-centric.
Not a bad thing.
Well, it is a bad thing. You want a diversity of skills leading an organization like that. I would kill for a really experienced charity person to be part of our board and to press us to be a better charity. That's been our struggle. And I'm looking for that person. That's part of my responsibility as chair is to try and balance out our group better.
Cool.
But it works. I know it works. I know we've made a difference. I know the contributions that folks have made to those projects has helped people, and that's very satisfying. We could be better, but that's true of a lot of things.
Cool. All right. I think it's you guys got to run. You got another call here.
Yep. I got to empty my bladder, load up my tea, and get on the phone with an Australian. As you do.
Who knew?
Yeah. Well, maybe a little too much data, but
Well, thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you letting me stream this. It was a lot of fun.
Jeff.
Yeah, we'll do more of this.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it again.
I'll see you guys later. And folks in the chat room, I'll catch you another time tomorrow, actually. We'll be writing some code together, all righty? So take care. We'll see you later. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.